Hi, it's Carter of Constitutional Rights PAC. I want to talk to you today, just a few minutes, bear with me, about the situation in Ukraine, okay? And if I seem a little curt, a little vexed, angry, it's because 600,000 Ukrainians have died, young people, and 1 million have been wounded. The United States has wasted $2 trillion. Don't believe the lies about the figures they're giving you, they're lies. All in a vain attempt which we knew was vain from the beginning, to stop Russia from trying to protect its own borders. Now some of you are saying, oh no, it was terrible, it was an invasion, and no, the Donbass region were people who spoke Russian. They had tired of Ukrainian dictators shelling their towns and villages day after day after day, killing 14,000 over Russian-speaking, really Russians, and they wanted to join Russia. And Putin kept telling Zelensky and the others, stop it, just stop it. Putin kept telling the United States, stop moving east. I need to put this in perspective. It was the West that violated both of the Minsk agreements. We lied to the Russians about not wanting to move east and make Ukraine part of NATO, something Russia said they just could not accept, any more than we would accept Mexico becoming a Chinese or a Russian state, as Putin explained to him. Macron of France and that nasty woman who was the president of Merkel, Germany, both admitted, yeah, we lied. Ain't so funny now, is it? We staged the Maidan color revolution. We did it. We overthrew an elected government. That fat, repulsive Victoria Nuland has helped to engineer that. And if some of you say, it's not nice to say those things, well, let me tell you a little something. When you see somebody let themselves get that disgusting and slovenly, male or female, probably not a good idea for you to follow their lead in anything, since they have clearly lost self-control and have mental problems, okay? So she went and handed out her cookies and helped overthrow an elected government. Finally, Russia said enough is enough, stop the aggression. Even in February of 2022, before they sent their troops in to rescue Donbass, they went to Turkey and begged Zelensky to sign a treaty just saying, look, let's just have a neutral Ukraine. But Zelensky knew what his instructions were. Boris Johnson came over and reminded Zelensky and his water carriers, don't forget, we're counting on you to destroy Russia. And we don't care how many Ukrainians die. We don't care how long it takes. Mr. Zelensky, we'll pay you enough money to make it worth your while. And the little porno comedian Zelensky, who was always out for himself, said, oh, I'm going to get a lot of money out of it. Okay, let's start killing our people. Knowing they could not win. You say, well, how could they know that? I knew it. All you had to do was look at the lineups on either side. You know, Zelensky, with his relatively small country against the gigantic Russian army, and all the manufacturing in Russia, and on our side, Joe Biden, a man who Robert Gates, the Secretary of Defense, had said he never made a correct foreign policy decision in 47 years. So we turned to Joe Biden to make this one. And now we see the result. What makes me so upset, right? And to those of you who were at the beginning wearing around your little yellow lapel and blue lapel pins, and we even put the Ukrainian flag in our front yard. Well, Well, I guess the Ukrainian people owe you a debt of thanks now for helping send 600,000 of their young people to their death. As a matter of fact, not even just their young people, their children, because Zelensky started dragooning 14 and 16-year-olds to send them into the meat grinder, and their elderly, because Zelensky started sending 50-year-olds in. The one person Zelensky didn't send was Zelensky, because he was busy using our trillions of dollars to buy 5 multi-million-dollar mansions around the world. Count them, 5. Alexandria, Virginia, Miami, London, Paris. Nice work if you can get it. And living the good life while you all go fight. You all go fight while I live good. Okay? That's what we supported. That's what we supported. So now we're only weeks from Kharkiv falling, and then it's on to Odessa. Okay? Because I think Putin eventually, Odessa was always a Russian city to begin with. I think they'll go ahead and take it back and leave the rest of Ukraine to its own fate, which I think you're going to find is seeing Poland take part of Ukraine as well as Hungary take part of Ukraine, all because of America's botched policies, okay? All because of our botched policies. How bad did we botch them? Well, as Russia has moved toward Ukraine, they have gone through fields where there were supposed to be, because we paid for them, the tiger's teeth, dragon's teeth, whatever you want to call them. Those are those little pyramid-shaped blockades that are supposed to be put up all over a battlefield to stop the advance of armored vehicles. Except they weren't put up. The United States sent hundreds of millions of dollars to make them and deploy them, and the Ukrainians, Zelensky and his generals, and his bureaucrats stole the money. That's who we have been supporting. While their soldiers died in those fields, Zelensky and his generals and bureaucrats, his oligarchs, were stealing the money. So those of you who supported this at the beginning, I'm going to go ahead and say, maybe you ought to be ashamed of yourselves, because it was so obvious from the beginning that, you know, your virtue signaling, let me get it right, was going to cost needless lives, hundreds of millions, hundreds of thousands. And you were fighting a war on behalf of Joe Biden and Admiral Kirby, one of the most transparent, disgusting liars in history. I mean, he makes Baghdad Bob look like a pillar of virtue. That's who, and Milley and Austin, inveterate liars who would say anything to further their war designs so that they could, in the words of Lindsey Graham, kill more Russians. That's really worth the money. No, it's not. No, it's not, especially when the Russians time and again said, can we talk? There's no need for this. Well, now the die is cast, and we see where it's going to end up. And China and Russia now have teamed up. Thank you again, Joe Biden, along with 40 African nations, along with BRICS, all because of a failed Ukrainian policy. So, folks, if you ever had any doubt about giving to and working for Donald Trump, you better damn well do it now, because if this Biden guy is put back into office, we're going to see Ukraine repeated all over the world, and nobody can afford that.